Just Comics. Hey guys, welcome to Just Comics.
And you are.
Oh, I'm Seth.
And I'm Steve, and today we're reading Wonder Woman Spirit of Truth from 2001, written by Paul Dini with art by Alex Ross.
There's a lot of Paul Dini, isn't there?
Well, Paul Dini was one of the writers of Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series. I believe he also worked a little bit on Batman Beyond.
So he's kind of a big deal.
I mean, yeah, but it also just happens that he writes a lot of stories that I enjoy, so I have a lot of his books. But with this one, we're continuing our retrospective on this series. We started last year with Superman Peace on Earth.
Yeah, and now we are moving on to Wonder Woman.
I do feel like with this one, it's basically an origin story for Diana Prince.
It does feel that way. It starts off just, Wonder Woman being Wonder Woman, Wonder Womaning around.
You get the origin of Themyscira.
Mm-hmm.
You also get a recap of Wonder Woman's origin.
Yes, and this origin is Wonder Woman as a clay statue brought to life.
Which I actually prefer that origin.
Instead of her being, a love child of Hippolyta and Ares.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something kind of cool about the clay sculpture coming to life kind of thing.
Yeah, true. And then there's the whole Donna Troy of it all. But that's neither here nor there.
No, we'll probably get into that in some other book another time.
Very much so.
We also get a recap of the different trials she had to go through in order to become the ambassador to man's world. It was a competition that she had to win.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say this is like an origin for Diana Prince is because at this point in time, as you've said before, it's just Wonder Woman just doing Wonder Woman things.
Basically, yeah. She's running around in her costume. She's striking down injustices, cleaning up things, stopping poachers, saving people, stopping bad guys, etc.
So she gets to this one country, and there's a despot in charge, and he's using his citizens as a human shield. Now, she could tell that they're lying when he says that they're not doing that. However, she has to be diplomatic about it because she's there as an ambassador.
Yeah, she has to be ethical. She has to be an ambassador. She has to follow the rules and laws of man's world.
Outside, though, there's a protest, and she sees a woman almost being run over by a tank. And what happens is she lifts up the tank, gives the people inside the tank a second to, get out of there before she tosses it. But the woman that she rescued is scared and runs off.
Because she doesn't recognize Wonder Woman as being a woman like her. She recognizes her as being other, strange, not right. One of the things I enjoy is that when things started to get too much for her, she goes back home, she relaxes, she recharges, and then she goes back out there. And the contrast of Themyscira versus man's world is it's peaceful, it's nature. It's a blend between, people and the natural world around them. And then we get back to the urban jungle of man's world being all concrete and steel and destroying the nature around them in order to build more, destroying people, blowing things up. You can see why the Amazons have just basically hold themselves up. I mean, why live in the outside world when you live in a beautiful island paradise?
I mean, and that's why it is also called Paradise Island.
Yeah.
And it's not just because there's a lot of gorgeous women.
It's very true.
So what about this art, though? Oh, my God. Look at that shot of her picking up the tank. My Lord.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Alex Ross, man. Does it get better than that? But Wonder Woman is feeling a bit out of sorts right now. She's wondering why she's even doing this and starting to lose touch with her mission.
People throwing rocks at her. They're writing. They're like, get out of here. We don't need you. You're not one of us.
And so she goes and talks to the only other person she feels could understand.
And that person, of course, is Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman, an alien amongst the people. It's basically what Diana is at this time. She's an alien amongst the people.
And one thing she asks him is, why do you even do the Clark Kent persona? Wouldn't you do more good if you were just Superman all the time?
And now that's always been the big thing, is that he views himself as being Clark foremost.
But more than that, it grounds him to humanity. He even says here in the book that the view can be beautiful from the sky, but most people live with their feet on the ground.
And that's why he likes being a reporter. He likes getting up and stuff. Plus, being a reporter also lets him get in first on crimes and stuff. But it lets him be among people.
And so Wonder Woman decides that maybe she needs to try and do what Clark did and start moving around amongst the people and stay on the ground a little bit.
Yep, and what better way to start than a riot, basically, a demonstration.
Well, yeah, it was a protest.
Protest between two sides.
They never say what the protest is about. That's the one thing about these books. Paul Dini is very careful not to pick a side in any particular argument. He did the same thing when we talked about Superman Peace on Earth. None of the countries were named or anything like that. It was just kind of living situations that were described and things like that. So you kind of had an idea maybe of what he was talking about. But he's doing the same thing here. He's not given a specific topic that people are debating. He just simply mentions in here that there's arguments on both sides that make sense. She was there making sure everything stays calm until somebody decides they're going to pull a gun.
Yes, a lot of times, unfortunately, even these days, argument of words turns into a war of lead.
So Wonder Woman subdues that guy, breaks it, takes off.
And both sides calm down quite a bit because they realize that things almost got bad.
Yeah. So she ends up in another part of the world where it's an Amazon rainforest, and the people who own the land are playing both sides of the fence.
So they're pretending to preserve the land while selling logging rights, which is terrible. I've seen Fern Gully, the poor pixies.
So she goes to check out what's going on, but again, she's staying on the ground, and she's not directly interfering because there's only so much she can do. So she does do a little bit of damage to some of the vehicles.
She does a lot of bit of damage to those vehicles, and those are expensive vehicles, and she does expensive damage, and that's awesome. And she did it without them even noticing, which is great.
Next, she works at a hospital as a nurse where she sees that kids are being hurt dramatically by landmines that are still around from an old war.
So it was actually a very common practice to use children to dig up landmines since kids are smaller, they're lighter, and they're closer to the ground, they have a better view of things. So they would have them often comb these areas that were mined by enemy occupants or even native occupants who set them up. But still, mines are dangerous and you can't always catch them.
So she joins a team to go and actually find these landmines and help get rid of them. But rather than using her powers to detonate them, she's taking all of this from a mortal perspective.
Instead of smacking with her wristband thingy, she's carefully prying them out of the ground like the explosive devices they are.
They're only slightly explosive.
Well, slightly. Yeah. If you step on them, then get off.
Just jump.
Yeah, jump, sure. You just lose a leg. No biggie.
She even joins up with the military, and they happen to go to the country that we were at in the beginning of the book, the one that was using its citizens as human shields.
Feels like we've gone full circle, kind of.
Yeah.
Instead of being there in her full regalia, she's there in military uniform.
So now she throws on a disguise so she can sneak into the camp where the civilians are.
Because she found out where they were.
Now from in here, she had something she wanted to say to one of the guys. He tries to smack her, but that ain't happening.
Nope.
So then she takes off her disguise, and there she is as Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah, her war regalia.
But this time, instead of being somebody from above, she's staying on the ground. So she blocks some bullets in the most badass way possible.
Well, they opened fire on the crowd, too. That's the thing. They would target her, even though there were the innocents behind her, and they didn't really care. So, she has to do her thing.
She sees that there's barrels with fuel in them. She launches one at a truck. It explodes. Everybody starts running away. And so now she's able to just rip open the fence to let all the civilians out.
Yep, and basically stop the whole human shield BS. She gets in her invisible glass jet plane thing.
And one more trip back to Themyscira, which is honestly, this shot, and double page spread, and it is just so gorgeous.
Absolutely.
After all of this, she phones Clark to let him know, you know what, you were right. And so she decides that she needs a civilian identity and that she needs to find a job where she can interact in man's world.
I think you mean in the human world. She's finally stopped looking at it as man's world and has seen it and sees it as the human world, suggesting that she, being a human herself, more or less, is now part of it.
And that's why I say that this was kind of like the origin of the Diana Prince secret identity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really great read. The first part until it shows that she was talking to Clark is great because I was wondering, the dialogue box is like, who's she talking to? Obviously, she's telling someone something. And then we see she's been talking to Clark the whole time. And, it was really neat how they blended that together. And then the rest of it's her point of view, her doing her thing.
I mean, if you do have any kind of nostalgia for like Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series,
Or if
Batman
you like
Adventures,
Peace on Earth.
Paul Dini, again, he wrote a lot of that stuff. So if you like his style of storytelling, and we've reviewed a few Paul Dini books on here, and trust me, we've got some more that'll be coming up down the road at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is definitely worth a pickup.
Yeah, there's 4 books in this art style series. This is only the second one. We'll definitely be doing the other 2 at some point.
Yeah, we'll pick those up. For now, though, that is the end of the video, Seth. So we do have to ask you to please like, share, comment, and subscribe.
And hey, we're also on X, so maybe swing by, like some tweets or whatever they're called these days,
and interact with Seth because Seth runs our social media account.
I do.
So,
and I also post on there when new episodes drop.
Yeah, so that way, if you didn't hit the bell, or if you're one of the 50% of the people who watch our videos but aren't subscribed, you can still follow us there and know when we're dropping videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk to Seth. He's got nothing to do. He's bored.
Yeah, I mostly manage it on the weekends because the rest of the time I'm at work. But yeah.
All right. So with that, you guys take care. Have a good one.
Yes, and thanks for watching once again. And we'll see you next time on Just Comics!